Hello, and welcome back to Game My Movie Recap channel. Today, we're going to tell you the storyline of an action movie called The Best Man from the year 2023, telling us the story of a group of former special ops soldiers who are attending their best friend's wedding at a remote resort. During the wedding, a team of mercenaries takes control of the resort and holds the guests hostage. The former soldiers must use their training and skills to save their friends and family. And so without further ado, let's get straight to the video. But before we start, please support our channel by subscribing and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. The movie begins by showing a woman named Julia Brooke being held captive by a group of mercenaries. Shortly after, a Special Forces team is sent to rescue Julia. The Special Forces team starts eliminating the mercenaries' members one by one. It is revealed that Julia is the daughter of a wealthy person, and that's why she was kidnapped by the mercenaries to obtain a ransom. When Julia is already rescued inside the car, they are suddenly attacked again by the mercenaries. During this incident, one of the Special Forces members named Axel falls in battle. Regrettably, the other team members are forced to leave Axel behind as he cannot be saved. After this event, the other members of the Special Forces team decide to retire. 1 year later, the scene shows a man named Bradley entering a stable while leading his horse. Shortly after, Bradley is approached by his former captain named Cal. It is revealed that both of them were former Special Forces who previously rescued Julia. Captain Cal informs Bradley that he has come to invite him to his upcoming wedding. Bradley is thrilled to hear this news as Captain Cal, who has been single for a long time, is finally getting married. Curious, Bradley asks who the unlucky woman that is going to marry Captain Cal. Captain Cal reveals that the woman he is going to marry is Julia, the same woman they once rescued. Captain Cal informs Bradley that the wedding will take place at a luxurious hotel in a remote countryside area. He also tells Bradley that he will be his best man during the wedding. In the following events, a day before the wedding, Julia visits her father in the hotel where the wedding will take place to check out the surroundings. She asks about the two men who are constantly following her father. He explains that they are his bodyguards. At the same time, Julia's younger sister Haley arrives, followed by Bradley. Julia inquires about Captain Cal's whereabouts, and Bradley informs her that her fiancé is currently with his friend in the bar area. Bradley also gets acquainted with Julia's sister, Haley, and it becomes apparent that they are attracted to each other. Once everyone is gathered, the hotel manager takes them on a tour to explore all the facilities, such as the gaming area, accommodations, bar, and casino. The manager mentions that the place will be vacated the next day for the enjoyment of the invited guests only. Julia's father asks about the security room, considering it crucial. The manager immediately takes them to the security room, explaining that they can monitor the entire area through the provided CCTV cameras. On the other side, in the bar area, Captain Cal is seen chatting with his friend named Anders. It turns out that Anders was also part of the mission to rescue Julia a year ago. Captain Cal asks Anders where he has been since retiring. Anders replies that he decided to stay in Thailand and has just arrived in America today. Anders has become a heavy drinker since his wife passed away. Shortly after, Julia approaches them. Anders is surprised to see Julia, as he just learned that Captain Cal is marrying the woman they rescued from the mercenaries. Later that evening, the families of the bride and groom are seen enjoying the atmosphere in the hotel lobby. Anders, who is skilled in playing the piano, approaches a tattooed woman and casually starts playing the piano. The tattooed woman seems quite interested in Anders. Bradley and Captain Cal are surprised to discover that Anders is quite talented in playing the piano. Captain Cal entrusts his wedding ring to Bradley, as Bradley will be his best man during the wedding ceremony tomorrow. He asks Bradley to guard the ring with his life. After Captain Cal leaves, Haley, Julia's younger sister, approaches Bradley. Haley gathers the courage to invite Bradley to a secluded place. Once they are there, they both play in the swimming pool, and eventually, something that single people desire happens. The next morning, before the wedding ceremony begins, Julia's father approaches Anders, who is drinking alone. Julia's father thanks Anders for helping to rescue Julia when she was held captive by the mercenaries. Then, Anders invites Julia's father to have a drink together while waiting for the wedding ceremony to start. On the other side, Bradley and Haley wake up and are shocked to realize that the wedding is about to begin. They quickly go to their respective rooms to change their clothes. In a nutshell, the wedding ceremony commences. However, Julia feels a bit embarrassed as her father appears tipsy due to the drinks offered by Anders earlier. Meanwhile, Anders himself, not wanting to appear drunk, chooses to sit with the tattooed woman. On the other hand, the hotel manager enters the security room with a cup of coffee for his colleague on duty there. But after a while, his colleague suddenly faints, as it turns out the hotel manager is planning something. He immediately contacts a group of mercenaries to come to the hotel. Back at the wedding ceremony, as they are about to exchange wedding rings, Bradley, who previously had the rings, realizes that he has forgotten where he put them. Quickly, Bradley asks everyone to wait as he will search for the rings, followed by Haley, who joins in the search. Meanwhile, the mercenaries finally arrive through the kitchen entrance. However, as soon as they enter, they immediately attack and kill the kitchen staff. The hotel manager is shocked as he didn't expect them to harm the kitchen staff. It is revealed that the mercenaries group is led by someone named Axel. We know Axel as the Special Forces member who fell during the rescue mission for Julia, as we saw at the beginning of the movie. How is Axel still alive, and what is Axel's actual plan? We will find out soon. Here, the terrified manager seeks permission from Axel to leave and asks for the promised payment. However, suddenly, Axel forces the manager to take him to the security room. Once there, Axel ruthlessly kills the unconscious security guard. Meanwhile, Haley finally finds Julia's wedding ring near the swimming pool. Bradley, on the other hand, is still busy searching for the ring in his hotel room where he kept his belongings. Shortly after, Haley approaches Bradley and informs him that she found the ring near the swimming pool. They quickly rush back to the wedding venue. As they both enter the elevator, suddenly, they hear an explosion, making them realize that the situation is not safe. Meanwhile, at the wedding venue, Captain Cal and everyone else are still waiting for Bradley's arrival. However, not long after that, they are startled by the arrival of the mercenaries, who immediately disrupt the event by shooting the guests. As a result, everyone scatters to save themselves. Two of Julia's father's bodyguards are seen engaging in a shootout with the mercenaries in the casino room. Unfortunately, the two bodyguards are overpowered and killed by the mercenaries. Captain Cal, unwilling to stand idly by, takes action by eliminating the mercenaries' members in the room. He then instructs Julia to leave the place through the kitchen while he will follow, carrying her intoxicated father. As Captain Cal is about to take her father, a mercenary member appears and attacks him until he loses consciousness. Just as the mercenaries member is about to finish off Captain Cal, suddenly, Anders arrives to save him. On the other side, some of the surviving guests are now being held hostage by the mercenaries group. Meanwhile, Julia, who is already in the kitchen, is startled by Axel's presence as he locks the exits, preventing anyone from leaving. Julia tries to hide to avoid being discovered by Axel. Aware that someone is there, Axel immediately begins searching for her. Fortunately, he fails to find Julia at that moment. A few minutes later, Axel goes to the casino room where he meets his right-hand man named Victor. Victor informs Axel that they have just captured Julia's father. Since her father is still intoxicated, they both carry him to the main room where the wedding ceremony was previously held. Upon arriving there, Axel tries to slap Julia's father to make him regain consciousness. Meanwhile, Bradley and Haley are seen on the upper floor of the room. Haley is shocked to see the chairs for the guests covered in blood. Shortly after, she also sees her father, who is being held captive by Axel. At the same time, Axel launches an attack on Haley and Bradley, but luckily, they both manage to evade him and quickly escape to another room. Bradley is puzzled to see Axel, his former comrade whom he thought had died, still alive. He wonders why Axel is doing all of this. Shortly after, Axel's henchmen arrive, but Bradley easily takes them down. The scene shifts to the kitchen, where there is one mercenary member searching for Julia. Suddenly, Julia encounters Anders. Anders asks Julia to stay in the kitchen while he takes on the other mercenary members. After a few minutes, Anders leaves, but from behind, another mercenary member captures Julia. He takes Julia to the security room. Once inside, the mercenaries member unexpectedly turns against his own comrade, and a fight breaks out between them. In the incident, the hotel manager, who happened to be there, becomes a victim of a stray bullet. When the mercenaries member is cornered, it is revealed that the person is Anders in disguise. Just as Anders is about to be eliminated, Julia quickly saves him with a single shot. Afterward, Anders instructs Julia to stay in the security room and not to open the door until everything is settled. Meanwhile, Axel is interrogating Julia's father. Axel demands all the money in the father's savings, promising not to harm Julia and Haley. However, the father refuses and even uses harsh words, but suddenly, Axel points the gun at his head, asking if he still wants to live. In the end, the father offers $1 million to Axel. However, Axel refuses because what he wants is all the money the father possesses. Then, Axel takes the father to the security room where he can access the computer to transfer all the money. Meanwhile, Captain Cal, who is searching for Julia, encounters a mercenary member and gets shot in the shoulder. Luckily, Captain Cal manages to escape. Back to Haley and Bradley, they are currently looking for a satellite phone to contact the police since all the communication networks in the hotel have been cut off by the mercenaries group. Bradley hears the enemy approaching and asks Haley to continue searching for the satellite phone while he deals with them. Once Bradley is outside, he quickly eliminates the remaining mercenaries members. Haley, who has found the satellite phone, is suddenly approached by Victor. Just as Victor is about to shoot Haley, Bradley arrives just in time to save her and is engaged in a fierce fight with Victor. During the battle, Bradley finds himself cornered by Victor. Haley tries to help, but she becomes a target for Victor instead. Victor continues to beat Bradley until he falls down. Seeing Bradley defeated, Haley runs away, but Victor keeps pursuing her. Haley runs until she is near the swimming pool, and now she is trapped. At another location, Julia, still in the security room, watches the situation through CCTV. She becomes afraid that Haley might become a victim. Meanwhile, Captain Cal arrives at the swimming pool area and engages in a duel with Victor. Captain Cal finds himself cornered and about to be eliminated, but suddenly, Bradley appears and attacks Victor. It turns out Bradley is still alive despite falling from the upper floor earlier. Eventually, Bradley manages to eliminate Victor. Back to Julia, she is now approached by Axel, who is holding her father as a hostage. Axel demands Julia to open the door, and if she refuses, he threatens to harm her father. Julia is forced to comply and opens the door to the security room. Axel immediately accesses the computer to transfer all of her father's money. Unfortunately, Axel is unable to complete the transfer as Julia's father's account has multiple layers of security, with one of the passwords known only to his youngest daughter, Haley. Then, Axel quickly goes to search for Haley while holding Julia hostage, while her father is left behind in the security room. Elsewhere, Anders successfully eliminates one of Axel's remaining henchmen. In the end, all the hostages are rescued, including the tattooed woman. The scene shifts to Bradley, who is currently leading Haley to the security room. Upon arrival, they find only her father there. Her father tells Bradley that he must hurry to save Julia, who is currently being held by Axel. In short, Captain Cal, Bradley, and Anders manage to find Julia, who is being held captive by Axel in a room. Here, they inquire about how Axel managed to survive the previous incident and what he truly wants now. Axel explains that back then he was rescued by the mercenaries who had previously kidnapped Julia. However, after Axel recovered, he was subjected to torture by the mercenaries for months. At some point, Axel managed to rebel and eliminate the mercenaries' leader, and his members appointed him as the new leader, a position he holds until now. His motive for all of this is revenge because Captain Cal and the others left him behind on the battlefield. Hearing this, Captain Cal explains that they thought Axel had died in that incident, which is why they were forced to leave him. At this point, Captain Cal is ready to take responsibility and is willing to be killed by Axel as long as Axel releases Julia. Captain Cal also admits that he was the one who ordered his team to leave Axel during that battle. However, after Axel agrees and is about to shoot them, Captain Cal quickly overpowers Axel, defeating him completely. When everything is settled, Julia approaches Captain Cal, Haley approaches Bradley, and Anders reunites with the tattooed woman. And thus, the movie comes to an end. What do you think of the movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and support the channel by subscribing and click the bell icon so that you won't miss our future recaps. And if you have any movie and series you want us to recap, please do tell us in the comments section as well. And that's about it. See you in the future videos.